Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Sean.
So today we have a really fun topic, and I don't want that to take away from how massively important it is. But it is fun because we're going to talk about using video. This is being recorded, and we also, as you know, you guys can always throw questions in there, and we'll pay attention to that and answer questions as they come in as much as we can. Steve, you look like a kind of guy who was born to do video.
I got a face for radio, man.
I got a face for radio too.
But what I can tell you is that if you're not doing video, I mean, it's the thing I hear a lot when I bring up the subject with agents who I think should be doing video is they're just not comfortable doing it. They don't like the way they look. They have all these excuses. But I hopefully today you and I can give them some ideas where I do think they have to be present in video. I think that there's no question. But if we can help them be more comfortable in front of the camera, then they're going to look more natural. And the more natural they come across, the better the videos will be. And not every video has to have them as the featured act, right?
Right. That's what I heard Gary V say that one. Gary Vaynerchuk, for those who don't know, look him up. He's a social media guru, really good. He's a bit direct in his language, so be prepared for that.
Yeah.
But he once said, look, if you're uncomfortable being in front of the camera, then turn the camera around. Point it at the home, point it at the business, point it at whatever the thing of interest is. And we're going to give you a number of ideas on what to be videotaping. But I want to put on my coaching hat for just a second, Steve, because I have this with a lot of the agents I talk to and the agents I coach who say, I don't like what you just said. I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound. I don't like. And here's my very balanced, very well-mannered coaching response. I don't freaking care. Shoot the video. What you don't like is only what you're seeing. Guess what everybody else sees and hears? Exactly what you look like on video. It is. This is what you look like. This is how you sound. The only person who's surprised by it is you when you see a video of yourself, because we're not used to seeing ourselves or hearing ourselves. So get over it. Video went from something that could really differentiate you, really can make a difference, to have to. It's a must in our business right now. So you got to get past it, and you got to do video. All right. Was that tactful?
Yeah, no, it's actually the truth. Excuse me. I struggle with that myself at times. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'll send a video message to an agent trying to wish them a happy birthday, and it takes me 5, 6, 7 takes because I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. But the reality is if I send a video to Jim Kling and just wish him a happy birthday, he could give a rip. It's like my mother would always tell me, it's what you intend. It's the thought that counts, right?
Right. They're not actually looking at you going, oh, what's his hair look like today? Or is that what he sounds like? This is what you always sound like to them.
Right. Now, having said that, I have seen video. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, I was going to just follow up with what you were saying, and the value of it is much higher. I can text you happy birthday, but if I say happy birthday in video, that is a much, much bigger impact.
Oh, it's huge. I remember during the pandemic, John Granston, one of the agents in Cardiff, it's something, again, you're always learning, right? I'm a 56-year-old man still learning every day. And that's what it means to be committed to being learning-based. But John Granston sent me a video during the pandemic. We were about a month or so in. He goes, hey, I'm just checking in on you. I want to see how you're doing. My agent checking in on me, and not just by text or but a video. And it just added such, I don't know, I can't explain it. It just felt so good to receive that video. I can't even put it into words. And I know all this stuff, right? I've sent them, I've received them, but at that moment, a perfectly timed video like that. So it goes beyond just, what we're going to talk about today, which is showcasing properties, talking about community, talking about what's good about a community and probably even what's not so good about a community. It's really about a way of connecting at a very high emotional level with your clients. And I'll tell you, it is a missed opportunity for most of us. And I would say for most of us, even on this call.
I agree, but let's make some dents in that.
Yeah.
So I want to share with you two quick concepts to build on in this. The first one is, obviously the goal is to create trust. Clients will use you for transactions when they have trust, right? So we spell trust, familiarity plus relevance. Familiarity plus relevance. Relevance means when you're speaking, when you're sending them things, does it have value to them? It can't be, look, I sold another one. That's all about me, right? How relevant are we to their lives? And familiarity is, how well do they know us? How often do they see us, and on which channels? And that's where video is off the charts helpful. Being able to see you in person and hear you talk is better than anything we could send out in an email or a flyer. It creates familiarity. They catch you on Facebook, and then another time they see you on Instagram. They see your YouTube video. Maybe you sent them a video if they're in your sphere. They're starting to see you in different places. What you're doing is building trust, and that is the key that we're looking for.
How many people watched, if you're on video, by a show of hands, have ever watched the Millionaire Real Estate, one of those shows, like that guy, that Ryan Serhat out in New York? How many of you
TV shows?
Yeah. So my wife watches that. I really don't care for that show a whole lot, but she likes to watch it. And I watch how, that's a show, and I know it's made for Hollywood or made for drama. But when you watch I think the level of unauthenticity, right? Like where people are just not being authentic. I think for people in the know, like all of us on this call, we realize that show doesn't do us any favors, right? But I also know that it doesn't, because I do think it makes us, well, I'll just move on.
Yeah, but there's no advertising is bad advertising.
No, there's not. But what you talked about earlier is how do you build trust through video? And I think when I look at a lot of the videos that are put out, they're very positive. Like if you were to Google, any agent has put a video out on Cardiff or Encinitas or San Diego, it's always going to be extolling what is beautiful about our community, and that's great. But I think the videos that I would relate to most are the ones that would talk about what it means to live in this community, all the upsides. And imagine if you were doing a video about a client coming into, let's say, Encinitas. Let me tell you what some of the downsides are. If you're coming from a place like Denver or Austin, Texas, in the weekends, you're going to experience more traffic on the 5. And so you're going to have to expect and get ready for adding that to your commute times when you go about things. Just little things like that just make you come across as someone who's a high-minded, not just trying to make a sale, but trying to give people, and you do it in a positive way. Look, what are some of the downsides of living in Encinitas? Well, you're going to have a lot of tourists. Tourists are going to, you're going to have your favorite spots to go to during.
What you're demonstrating is expertise.
Right, and as transparency, which I think is what helps build trust.
Right. You're genuine. And so I'm going to give a term for that. Our focus going forward needs to be and should be hyper-local expertise. When someone looks up an area, they want to see you, or we want them to see us. Buying side, listing side doesn't matter. What they're looking for is expertise. Is this your niche? By the way, remember, this is niche driven. You're not going to, we get ourselves in trouble when we watch TV and think that's a good model. The commercials on TV are brand awareness. It's companies spending millions and millions of dollars to make you think of a brand when you think of a need. We don't have that kind of money. You're not trying to create repetitive brand awareness. You're trying to be the hyper-local expert. So you need to be talking about your niches. It's not going to keep you from doing other business. I swear it won't. But it will ingrain you with the people in those areas. I always get philosophical. Let's talk about how to actually use this, right? What do we do? One of the things I hear is, I don't know what. So how do I become hyper-local? What do I put on video?
I've got some ideas there. We can share.
Fire away.
Okay, so what about your favorite places? It's of course you want to do the obvious, right? You want to make sure you do. If you're not, well, I'm assuming everyone on this call does property videos when they list a property. If you're not, then see me after class and I'll tell you why you need to be doing that, right? But market updates, tips for consumers, like what's going on in this market when the market begins to shift. Imagine if you were just putting out a 5-minute video giving tips to buyers about how they can be successful when it seems like every time they're putting an offer and they're going up against 10 of their offers. Talk about those things. Talk about the blocking and tackling of that. But there are opportunities for testimonials where, first of all, imagine, I see a lot of testimonial videos go out, but what do people, when people use Yelp and all these sites like Google, or they're on Amazon and they're looking to procure some product, inevitably they're looking at the reviews. They want to know who else has used this and is this a good product? And yet very rarely when you look at an agent page or when you look at videos that's going into our ecosystem, do we hear videos, well, let me tell you who I am. Let me tell you who I am. And then maybe you would dovetail that interwave testimonial, and that would be a static video that you would have up. But I really like the idea of talking about your community, the ups and the downs, and again, doing it as positive a way as possible, interviewing some of those owners. If you have favorite places that you visit, and then using hashtags so that when people are searching, I don't know, like in Cardiff, it could be Vittori, like a really cool athletic apparel shop that's born and bred in Encinitas, right? If you get interviews with the owner of that or the store manager, you hashtag that, every search engine that's where someone's searching for that product, you're going to get sucked into that optimization and get optics on your video. So
plus, they'll send it out.
That's right.
When we're talking about local businesses, and it's an easy approach. Listen, I'm an agent. I'm the local expert in this area. I deal with a lot of people moving into the area for the first time. And I want to direct them to our local businesses. I want to support the local dry cleaner, the local coffee, whoever you're talking to. I'm sure you'd like them to find out about you before they find out about some national chain. You're helping them. We're in the helping business. And then when you create the video, guess who else is now putting it out everywhere? They are. You're expanding the circle of people. So, and this is called, to give you guys a couple of ideas, because you mentioned listing videos too. There's what's called long form and short form video. And I want to give you both of those real quick. Short form is what we're talking about right now. It's with your phone. We have these magical devices now that take great video. You could be shooting video all the time. Every day you could shoot 2 to 3 short videos. And even though those TV shows don't always put us in a good light, here's the news. We're rock stars right now. People actually watch TV shows about real estate agents. They want to know what's going on in your world. They want to know how this works. Don't be afraid of that. Lean into it. Long form video could be 5 to 15 minutes. It's a listing video, of course, but it could be you taking on a topic that goes out once a week, right? One of the ways you have these ideas is just talking to your people. If one of your clients, one of your sphere brings up an issue, that's an issue for a lot of people. There's only one person bringing it up to you. Don't answer it for that person only. I mean, give them the answer, but throw it in a video. And here's a great way to do this. First Friday of the month is video day. You come in and you shoot 4 long form videos. You have a videographer. They're going to do the editing. This is your really nice stuff that goes out once a week. Bring in 4 sets of clothes, make it a fun day, shoot 4 videos, hand it back to the videographer, and then post it once a week to your TV show. Think of this as a TV show now. Every week we put out a show. A hint about videographers, by the way, go find a wedding videographer. They're super busy on weekends. They have almost nothing going on during the week. Wedding videographers are really good at what they do and will probably happily come in once a month on a Wednesday or Friday, whatever day, and shoot 4 videos for you. So that's the long form, Steve. That's where we have a topic and we're putting out expertise. And then the fun stuff you're saying, if you start thinking this way, you're going to see the opportunities. Every single day we get that great email from, my mind just went blank.
Leonard Steinberg.
Right. You see, he does those did you knows? They're always interesting. Everybody loves a did you know. So what if every Monday you put out a 20-second did you know? Did you know Monday? It just goes out. You just put it out on Instagram. You put it on Facebook. You put it out. You could do, tip of the day Tuesday. I mean, you could create a theme. I would recommend, as a matter of fact, you create a theme because it gives you structure. What am I going to do for video today? Oh, yeah, it's Tuesday. I'm going to do a quick tip. Or just in this market right now, one of the best, you guys have a listing and you get, 20 offers. And it's a lot of work. People don't know behind the scenes how much work you guys do. I would go into the office on a conference table, spread all those offers out, take my phone, turn it like this and say, here I am, one of my listings just did great with all the marketing and the Compass Concierge, and we got 20 offers. So it's 8 o'clock at night. You know what I'm doing? Organizing these, getting them summarized, getting it in a form that my client can make the best decision. This is not always glamorous. This is what real estate really looks like, but this is what we do for our clients. Something that's making your client look good, making you look good, and showing the behind the scenes. You'll get so many views on that pull back the curtain stuff that people love that. If you're doing the business anyway, you're already doing it. Just film yourself doing it.
Right. Yeah, I love that idea. I love putting yourself in a situation on video where you're the most comfortable, because you will look the most natural. Mm-hmm. And if you're, comfortable just putting the camera on, say, here I'm 11 o'clock and I've got 5 offers in less than an hour span, having gone active just today. Let me give you a tip on if you're going to write an offer, because as I review these 5, here's some opportunities for you as a consumer to present. And here's a great idea that's in this offer. I mean, use that environment to talk about something you're going to be really comfortable talking about, where you're not going to be searching for words, right? If there's something in that offer that was structured that you find really great, it's just going to flow from you. You're going to come off natural, and and just move on. Say, so talk to you tomorrow or next video or whatever. You don't have to. It's not like you said it. That would be maybe a 30-second to a 1-minute video that you could put off into the ecosystem. You're gonna appear very natural and very comfortable. And more importantly, to your point, you're creating a library of success. Something like that shows you succeeding or performing at a high level is something that it writes on people's slate, if you will. They remember things like that.
And that reminds me, timestamp your videos. Things are so fluid and our business moves so fast. Come in and say, hi, it's Monday, June 28th. My tip for today are timestamp your videos in the video. When people go back 6 months from now, things could be very different. And we never want to have the wrong tone. Imagine putting out videos just before the whole COVID thing happened. And then 3 months into COVID, people are watching you talking about how we're running around and life is great. And the whole tone would be wrong while everyone's locked in their homes if they thought you put that video out that day. So timestamp your videos. Timestamp
them, and don't forget the hashtags. If you got something to write on, I would encourage all of you to go to this link, and I can put it up in the chat here in a second. But it's called keywordseverywhere.com. Keywordseverywhere.com. So, I remember when I first started seeing hashtags, I'm wondering, what the hell's everyone putting these hashtags everywhere? Do you remember that? Like, it's just like when you got your first email, it was so novel. And
I was so bad, I called them pound sign.
Pound signs, yeah.
Pound sign compass. What?
Right. The cool thing about that site that I just referred you all to is for a pretty nominal fee. I mean, if it's $50 a year to get X amount of searches, or $100, it's going to be the best $100 you'll ever spend if you're going to start to play serious in this space. Because what you can do is you can put in like hashtag San Diego real estate, and it will tell you over a recent period of time, like within 24 hours, a week, how many times that hashtag has been searched. And so you can start vetting out some of these key hashtag words that will optimize your video. So don't just put a video together and just throw it into the ecosystem with no hashtags, because the search engines, Google, by the way, Google owns YouTube. And you really want to get on YouTube. So it's not just social media.
That's your channel. That's your TV channel, right?
Yes.
YouTube.
And you want
to know that. Sorry. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world after Google. If you ever watch kids, I watch my kids. When they want to look something up, they don't go to Google. They go to YouTube.
Yeah.
That's how they search everything. So you want to have a library, like you said.
That's right. And the second best tip I'll give you today, in my world, I think, is a link to or write this down. It's called TubeBuddy.com. Yep. TubeBuddy.com. Again, it optimizes YouTube. It does a similar thing. It has a nominal fee, but it will tell you what people are searching for in your area as it relates to a particular discipline. So in the case of real estate or coastal homes or condominiums, I mean, you can start putting those keywords in, and that site will tell you where and what people are searching for. So it really, because it's not, if you're going to have the courage and the commitment to put a video together, man, let's just nail this thing, right? Let's get this, because it does no good, Sean, if there's no optics.
Steve,
Right.
what was the name of that last one again, please?
TubeBuddy.
Oh, TubeBuddy. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal site that will help you a lot. And what's happening here is there's something we talked about called join the conversation in their head. We talk about this a lot with scripting and in sales too. You want to join the conversation already going on in somebody's head rather than confront them. With your videos, you want to do the same thing. TubeBuddy does that. It allows you to use keywords to join the conversation already going on out there.
Right.
You want to do the same thing. So we did throwback here to an app. I want to do throwback real quick. The last week, we talked about knowing your mission statement, your value, your why. If you have figured that out, a lot of your videos will come from that angle, which is, once again, you having a conversation with them, you being you. Some people don't like me, by the way, right? That's okay. There's so much business out there. I want to do business with people I like and who like me. So you don't want to be generic in video. You want to be completely you and attract the clients who want to work with you. Join the conversation in their head. Talk about things that are, go in and search. Great thing with Google is it'll finish your search for you. Right now I'm in La Mesa. Best thing about La Mesa is, and then don't stop typing. And it'll come up with a bunch of things which reflects what's actually going on in the community. Well, there's a bunch of videos right there. I'm going to go do every one of those videos and do a story, right? We're storytellers. This is all about that experience that we create now. We have to be storytellers for our clients, and video is storytelling.
Yeah, and transparency. Like, I mean, be honest. I can't, don't just sell the good stuff. If someone moves in and they just bought a house in Carlsbad, and one of the things they love to do is, I don't know, go up to Orange County to spend the day at Dana Point or do something. If you don't talk about what that lifestyle looks like on a Saturday and Sunday, and when you do tell that, they do experience, they will appreciate you and refer you because you told them everything, and they will respect you for that. I'm telling you, one of the quickest ways to build trust is don't just sell the good stuff. Just tell them the truth and do it in a positive way, right? Mm-hmm. There's nothing bad about living in Carlsbad. I've lived here now for 9 years in this community. I can't think of one negative that would force me out of the community, not one. If where I would like to live would be coastal Encinitas. I could talk about why would I like to do that? What is it about that community that would attract me? I could talk about that. If I wasn't living in Carlsbad, my second favorite place or place I'd like to move to is, I mean, these are the videos that people will find really interesting and super helpful because you're going to be authentic and natural and transparent. That is, and not all videos have that. Where I was going with the show, what I forgot to mention was, like there was last night I was watching part of this as we were preparing for dinner. An offer comes in on a property. Of course, cameras are on and all that. And the agent, before having to notify her client that the offer was going to be off the mark, so much so that she was afraid to make the call, right? This was like during COVID, the early stages of COVID. When the seller responded somewhat positively, instead of being nervous, she just kept reaffirming everything the seller was saying, which hit me as completely about her motives and goals of just making a sale, as opposed to sharing, well, gosh, I'm really glad to hear you say that because my concern here was that you were going to be really unhappy with this. I think in the normal market, we'd probably be north of this number, but under these circumstances, I want to take a little bit of time, make sure that these numbers are matching out. If you're open to this, then we'll certainly take a deeper dive with this buyer. I'm vomiting right now. Forgive me, I'm just vomiting, right? But you see where I would go with it? I wouldn't have just aligned with her immediately. Oh, she's okay with this. And when someone who watches that on television, I think they look poorly on real estate professionals because you're not looking out for me. As soon as I gave you all you needed to make the sale, you jumped on it. Does that make sense?
I'm with you 100%. But while you're giving them ideas, let's throw a lot of quick ideas out. Okay. We talked about behind the scenes. We talked about Home Tip Tuesday. You could do Foodie Friday, right? Go to your favorite restaurant and talk about it.
Yeah.
You could do There was another, think about being the knowledge broker. So, for instance, I see offers all the time where the agent doesn't fill out the finances at the bottom. That's really, really important. Go on and talk about that. That's not going to appeal to everybody, but it's going to be very appealing to someone who's thinking about buying right now. This guy knows how to protect me using the contract. Think about social proof, which is testimonials from your clients.
Yeah.
Pay attention to buzzwords. What's popular right now? And do a minute thought on that. It's all about you being you. There's a concept called long tail marketing. Many of you have seen the book or know of it. It's probably a decade old now, but the concept is the main things people want to market to, homes in San Diego. Well, you're never going to own that term online. There's huge companies that are paying 1,000 people to type 1,000 things using those keywords. But there's so many keywords out in the long tail, so many, architectural homes in Carlsbad or condos near the beach or something that's specific that not as many people search for, but you're the only one using the keyword, so you're easily found. That's the long, and it turns out there's more business in the long tail than there is in the head, they call it, where all the popular keywords are. If you're listening to that stuff, if you're paying attention to what your clients are doing or what's being discussed around you, every one of those is a video idea.
Yep.
Social proof that you're here, that you're an expert in the market.
I think of Rancho Santa Fe. I was in that market longest, I think 13 years since I've been in California managing in there 13, 14 years. My Rancho agents will know what I mean when I talk about the Uzumaki Gate. Now, the Uzumaki Gate won't mean anything to 95% of you on this call. But if you were, and by the way, where you get access to the Uzumaki Gate, some of those properties there's some nice homes. Some not. It's not the best of the ranch. But here's the cool thing about if you have gate access to the Uzumaki Gate, to get to anything that matters, like grocery shopping or Target or making those grocery runs or shopping runs to one of those communities in Forest Ranch, as opposed to having to drive out of your community, run all the way to Fairbanks, wrap all the way around into Del Sur, and that's a 25-minute journey for you each way. The Uzumaki Gate will get you there in about 8 minutes. Now, if you talked about that's a hidden gem about that community. I don't know that I've ever seen a video come out about that, Sean, in that community, and what a wonderful, if that is in your deed that you have gate access, what a wonderful perk that is.
And that would be a two-edged sword. For buyers, you're showing the expertise you have, and they're saying this person really knows the area. And for sellers, I've never seen anyone discuss that. Only the people who live here know that. This is a great person to represent my home. He understands my community.
Look for that. Look for your Uzumaki Gate.
Right, that's perfect. I can't spell it, but you guys write that down. Look for your Uzumaki Gate.
Look for your Uzumaki Gate, because you got one. In every community you represent, there is something unique that maybe it's access to the beach where you have stair access that's only available to that community or to that neighborhood. No one else is supposed to use it, right? That kind of thing. But everyone loves dogs. Talk about your favorite dog parks and back to that kind of thing. I mean, you'll get optics on that. And if you hashtag that properly, you just watch your views go from next to nothing to, thousands of views.
So, and it's not just dogs. It is your love. For instance, don't do something on dogs if you don't actually love dogs. It goes back to the genuineness that Steve was talking about, the authenticity. Right. Whatever it is you do love, go into it. Find your tribe. There's a saying, your vibe will find your tribe.
That's right.
Trust
me on this. Cody Steele, to talk about surfing, I've never sat my big butt up on top of a surfboard, let alone stood up on one. But I could talk to you about dogs all day long, and if I tried to talk about surfboards, I'd look like the substitute teacher trying to teach history when my specialty is math. You're going to know right away, this guy's not into this. This isn't his thing. He's just substituting. How many times have we seen speakers or people try to influence us acting as a substitute teacher, and every one of you knew it? Every one of you on this call has been in that situation. Oh, this isn't her deal. This isn't his gig. He's just trying to. I get this a lot when I go to real estate training events, right? So you can tell the person that's been in the trenches doing that thing versus that one that knows you should do it, but they have no expertise in it. It's so transparent.
I want to share a couple how-tos also real quick. We're out of time, I know. Remember that a forward-facing camera has better sound on your phone. If you're going to get into this and make one spend of any kind, make it on the microphone. Sound's the most important thing. When you're filming something, look for easy edits. Film with the thought in mind that here's a place where I could stop and cut to something else. It's a dead space, or it's a stop of movement. You want to think that way. Voiceover. Unless you're doing a live like Facebook broadcast, don't try to do your voiceover when you're filming. Go back and see what you filmed, then do voiceover. And all of these we're talking about under a minute for all your short form. Long form, I would bring in someone to help you, a videographer, a wedding videographer, someone like that. There was so much more I want to get to. I can't believe it's already 7:30.
I can't either. One last app I wanted to make everyone aware of, because there's so much great content on Marketing Center too. I mean, if you're going to do marketing updates, I mean, with Chartwell's got some phenomenal slides. If you haven't been to a Chartwell event when they do their training, look, I'd encourage you to go just to take advantage of that. But there's an app called Filmic Pro, FILMMIC Pro. It's probably one of the best apps if you want to use your phone and produce, I mean, high-level video where it's showing you the microphone volume, how the mic's picking you up. Nothing's worse than going around and trying to put this really nice video together using maybe a gimbal and your phone, and not realizing that something's blocking the mic, or all of that time spent is wasted because you can't hear yourself. So this app actually, it's one of the few that I've seen that will actually give you mic readings, camera, light readings, how you're metering light, all that. It takes a bit to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's one of the best. It's huge. So,
all right, I think we'll both stay for a few minutes if people have questions. I want to leave you guys with this real quick. A lot of people are afraid to get on video.
Yeah.
The cost of doing something poorly is much, much less than not doing it at all. Do it poorly and get better. It's 10 times better than not doing it at all.
And COVID has trained clients and people in general, Sean, where they're living their lives in video now. I mean, I'm just telling you, people are going to YouTube and they're searching everything. The number one search site is Google. The second search site is YouTube.
Right. And but everybody who needs to go, great. Yep. We're going to stay here and talk for a few minutes, but thank you so much for your time. I know we ran over today. There's so much to cover in this.
Yeah.
Cool. We're still recording, Steve.
Yes.
By the way, YouTube is your channel about you. Don't be posting listing videos on YouTube. Create a separate space for that. YouTube should be where people learn about you and the community and your niches and your loves, your tips, everything. It can be real estate related, but it's not a place for long form listing videos.
I totally agree. It is the space for your testimonials and
right.
favorite places.
80-20 principle is another really good one. 80% of what you video should be non-real estate. Only 20% should be specific. And it should never be, again, we have to get past the, hey, I sold another one, or look at my 10th, whatever in this. Nobody cares. The honest truth is they don't care. How does it impact me is what I want to know. That's what people think about. You have to be sharing with them, about them, not about you. So 80% of it is stuff that people find interesting, and 20% is real estate related, usually in a way that's helpful to them, right? We're giving a tip, we're helping, we're showing behind the scenes, or making it fun. Man, if you have any kind of humor, use that. People love funny. That's more enduring than anything you can do.
And I think they love your battle scars. And let me tell you what I've learned in these 20-some, 30 years, whatever many years you've been in real estate. What have I learned? Let me tell you the top 3 things that I've learned over the last year.
Wait, Steve, I got to say this because you're about to say it and I want to give it to them. You just reminded me of one of my favorites. Write this down. Wait, I forgot how it goes. The X most important things I've learned in X years in real estate. Been in real estate 10 years, have 10 things. 20 years, have 20 things. 5 years, have 5 things. And share that with people. They'll eat it up. Especially, like Steve said, if some of it is something you learned the hard way.
Right. Yeah, it's people love that, and And then I feel often given this advice too, that I think a great video would be, imagine you if like I'm going, I won't be with you all next week. Well, I don't think any of us will be together for the 4th of July. So happy 4th, everyone. But I'm going back to my hometown on Wednesday to visit my father for the first time in a while. So I'll go back to Detroit. And I think I'm going to practice what I preach and take some video of the very first home that I grew up in and talk about the memories that I have in that house that I still carry with me today, some 57 years later. What do I remember about living in that house? Then my parents moved to this house. What do I remember about this house? You know, this is where I went to high school. If you talk about the meaning of what it means to have a place to call home, that's an incredible video series. I mean, like that you could, so I sell these things. But let me tell you what home means to me, what it's meant to me in my life, and how important it is and why I love what I do. That is a genuinely authentic thing that people will dial into, especially your fans.
I love that. And I love you doing that, period. Now, if you can, tie it together, like the way you did at the end. If you have a little tag for these, hey, look, a home is more than just a place you live. It's where you store your memory. Something that makes people tie back to the real estate that, man, I love this guy. This guy gets it. I want him to help me. I want him to help my friend, my sister, my whomever. But if you don't, it's okay. You don't have to have great taglines. Doing the video is what matters.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll share with you. I'll put a little video together and show you my humble beginnings in a place that I still love so much. You know, I'm proud to be from Detroit. Very proud. I'm also very happy I live in San Diego today.
Hey, does anybody have any questions? That was the idea of staying late. We're just rambling on. Anybody want to come off mic or go in to type it in?
Please do.
We're good? Okay. All right. I think I'm going to stop the recording, Steve.
Okay.
If anybody else wants to stay, I got to hop. I don't know if you're going to stay on for another few minutes.
No, I got to run. I've got to get going, but I appreciate you all for being here today, and happy 4th of July.
Yeah, we won't see you next week. Have a safe, fun weekend, everybody.